Wheaties gives you all the grain because there's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties plate.
What sparks a champion? Sparks you and champions. Choose Wheaties.
Breakfast of champions.
I wanted to be someday.
It is a very exclusive club. Only the very best athletes ever get a chance to join it. The benefit is having your face stare out from supermarket shelves across the country. It is the honor of being pictured on a box of Wheaties. Joining Mary Lou Retton and the others of current Wheaties boxes, on current Wheaties boxes, is Doug Heir. He is a gold medalist in the javelin, discus, and shot put at the Wheelchair Olympics. Doug Heir joins us now to talk about that. Here is the Wheaties box. There you are. Can we see that? How did that happen?
Well, they had a national search for a champion, and people would first send in the box tops, and then they would take the top 50 vote getters in the country, and then there was a panel of judges that selected a few athletes to appear on the box cover. And for me, it's one of the greatest honors of my life. It really is.
Oh, boy, I mean, you put you and Hank Aaron in the same category.
It's great, yeah. And Wheaties never taste as good. They're great.
That's right. This is, well, I just want to show, we've got some show and tell here, the audience in mind.
Okay.
This is from the Wheelchair Olympics. I guess they're all the same, but this discus, javelin, and the
shot put.
And the shot put. Yeah. They talk about your 18.5-inch biceps, and so that helps you bring that. It all. Tell me about growing up. You grew up where?
I grew up in Palisades Park in New Jersey. And my physical side was always important to me because I'm 6'4", and so I was athletic in sports, busy with keeping busy with competition and all. And it was my size, being 6'4", was real important. And then one day, I had an accident, and it changed my life just 1 second.
What happened?
Well, I was a lifeguard, and I took the stand, and I noticed someone was drowning. At least they appeared to be drowning. I dove into the pool, and my head hit the bottom of the pool, and I broke my neck, because it only takes 10 pounds of pressure to break your neck, believe it or not. And at that time...
What, there's not enough water, or you just dived too deep?
Well, the stand was too high in relation to the depth of the water, and the pool wasn't full, and it worked out that the boy was only faking. So I broke my neck, and my first instinct was to get the boy drowning, but my brother dove in the pool and saved me, and I realized I broke my neck at that time.
Well, while you were there in the water, you realized that?
Yeah, on the side of the pool, and I didn't know the severity of it until later on, but I knew it happened, and I asked my brother to throw me back in the water because I didn't want to deal with it, and he said, well, whatever it is, we're going to make the most of it.
And you could see the blood was probably red because of the water because you were bleeding.
It was scary. Just a second, you don't know what happened. I was a big guy, all of a sudden, next thing I know, I wasn't able to stand in the pool.
And your brother pulled you out of the pool.
Right.
And you laid there, and
then all the...
You couldn't move.
Right.
You couldn't move. People were looking at you.
Sure.
What'd you think?
Well, you know, at that time, I didn't realize the severity of it because my friends were there saying, oh, you're going to get better. We'll see you in a couple of hours. But then as time went on, you know, I was laying in the hospital bed. You know, I went through the why me stage. Why did this happen to me? Why not somebody else? I was always a nice person. I tried to help other people. And then you go through a suicidal stage or a giving up stage where you want to quit. And the doctors set very low expectations for you. And they tell you, well, don't expect much. And people would sort of be discouraged. And that's why with family support and inner determination and believing in yourself, you can strive above and meet the challenge.
Easier said than done.
Much easier, yeah. Especially looking back. It's always easier looking back.
Yeah, I mean, there must have been moments in which you said, the doctor says I'll never walk again.
Sure.
You know, I got a lot of people that love me, but they don't know what it's like to lie here every day. And you look at the physical therapy that's ahead of you just to, you know, to get some strength back, you know.
Right.
And all the weightlifting you got to go through, all the physical therapy.
Yeah.
You think suicide. When did you say, enough? I got to take control of my life. If I want to be something, if I want to make, you know, how did you reach that conclusion that was the turning point?
Sure. Well, it's difficult. You know, you're laying in the hospital bed, and I look out the window, and I see people going to work, and they're still having fun, and they're still laughing, and I say, hey, what about me? I'm in here in the hospital. But I realize life doesn't stop and wait till you get better. Yeah. And I realized, you know, it keeps going by. So I had to take the focus off of myself saying, oh, it's too bad this happened to me. And I looked at other people. I looked at other people suffering and that type of thing, and other people without love and unhappiness. And I said, who's immune to adversity? You know, even the president and the Pope, you know, no one's immune to it. And instead of saying, why me, I said, try me. And I made it sort of a game. And I found that, I use this analogy often, that in life, let's say you have a chess set, and I lost the queen on my chess set because being physically big was always the most important piece to me. And you know, when you land on Monopoly, or you land on Boardwalk when you're playing Monopoly, they take the queen off your chess set. You want to flip the board and quit. But what I realized is that you still have a rook and a pawn and a bishop, and you can still utilize these pieces to a winning combination. And one day maybe you'll get that queen back. But in the meantime, you have to work with what you have.
Getting the clean back is being able to walk again.
Exactly, for myself.
You say to yourself there are 10,000 things that you can do in the world, and I can still do 9,000 of those, so let's get on with learning how to do
Exactly.
those.
Focus on what you can do. Because certainly when I was laying in the hospital bed contemplating suicide, I never thought I'd be a lawyer, which I am today.
Yeah.
I certainly never thought I'd be at a box of Wheaties or be a world champion. But it's focusing on what you can do and let the can't-dos just happen.
We all don't know how quite to react to, all the time, to people that have a handicap.
Certainly.
You know, you asked for some water here. You reached to pick up the water. You know, the water was filled there was too much water in it. It spilled over. Now, most people say, should they reach out? Would you want somebody to reach out and help you do that or not?
Well, personally, I think...
Would you care?
People ask that often, you know, should they grab my chair and give me a push-up and help? And, you know, you want to be independent, but you have to be realistic with things that you want to get done with life.
Sure.
And sometimes it's just easier to have a hand. And if it feels good for that individual helping, like I even like to hold the door open for you, let's say.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that feeling. And if it feels good, do it. But it's usually good to ask first. And, but it's good. You know, at first I remember I didn't want anybody pushing my chair or anything because I felt, well, here I am trying. And if they help me, it looks like I'm not doing a good job. But basically, people like the help. Even when I've gone to prisons and, you know, there's been mass murderers there. They murdered their whole family. They would come running over to me and they want to be the first ones to give me a hand in, let's say, the curb or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, people are human nature is giving.
You're doing a lot of work also to make sure that the architecture of this country is easy for people in a chair. I mean, give me your quick speech on that.
Well, basically, you know, if someone's looking down from a window and they see a person in a wheelchair roll up to 4 steps and they can't get up and roll away, that just affirms the stigma attached to disabled people being handicapped. But if there was a ramp there would be no problem with it. They would say, wow, look at that, they did it. And it's really a matter of independence, and it's a good, you know, I didn't realize, I would never expect to be in a wheelchair, and then 1 second changed my life. But just as much as 1 second changed my life, it could change it again in a different way.
And one medical breakthrough might make you walk again.
Exactly.
But you'll find no doctor that'll guarantee that. No doctor that says even that I expect it to happen in the near future.
Right.
Yet you're optimistic.
Right. Well, you have to have hopes, but you have to be realistic too. As I said, you know, you don't want to let life slip by and wait till you're cured, and you have to get on with life. But basically, there's nothing wrong with hoping and setting goals and keeping yourself in shape for when that cure does come, because technology and science is right there, and it is a matter of going for it and trying to find out all
some way that those spinal nerves can be regenerated. So
it's difficult material, and all it is I broke my neck, so my brain sends messages to my legs,
they don't make
and it's just the electrical impulses that get me through right.
They don't get there.
Right. So, but right now they're doing with electrical stimulation, and everything is working out great. So it's a good field. It's exciting. And one day when you're walking around, you can really appreciate life. But if not, you live to what you have.
Come back anytime.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Very much. Doug Heir, you can see him on the box of Wheaties. He is, as you can obviously see and hear, an interesting young man on his way to a lot of interesting endeavors. Night Watch continues.